Welcome to the Shabby Fabrics at Home Studio. My name's Chase. Thank you for joining me to create something together today. We will be making this very special tree skirt. This is the Frosted Poinsettia Tree Skirt, and it is just so elegant and classy. I just think it's going to look so good with it enhancing the bottom of your Christmas tree for those nights where we're all gathered around with our loved ones. It really is just so simple yet elegant, and those details of the poinsettias are just so lovely. And this is actually a fairly easy project to make. What we're going to do first is prep our materials. We are going to put this in a kit for you so you don't need to hunt down all the coordinating products that go with it. We're going to send it with you for the fabric, the felt fabric here, the lovely burgundy velvet ribbon here, which I just love this deep burgundy. I think it is so pretty during the holiday time. And also the pearl embellishments that go around the poinsettia to really give them just that classy look. To get started with this piece of fabric, felt fabric here that we will be sending you, you're going to put this into fourths. So fold it into fourths and make sure it is nice and even with the corners aligning. So that way we can make a perfect cut here with it and not leave any of the material out of it. Once you have it folded into fourths here, what we're going to do is we will start by tracing out our shape of our tree skirt here. You're going to want to start with the corner that is folded in where they meet here. And what we will do is I'm going to take one of my friction pens. These are the best pens to have on hand because you can just erase them. If you mark something that you didn't quite want it to be there, you can just iron it and it disappears like magic. So to make the cutout here for the tree skirt, you're gonna wanna take your pen. I have my friction pen and I'm going to take a string and wrap it around the pen. I'm just using embroidery floss. You can use the ribbon that comes with your kit. You just wanna make sure that it is long enough to reach both corners here from end to end. So the corner in the middle that we're starting with and the edge of the fabric. Once you have that measurement of where it's touching in this corner, I'm actually going to then start up here so that way I'm not pushing against the felt and then going downwards, which is a little bit easier. So you can see you're just getting this motion here that's going to create an even edge here for us. So we will start holding tight in that corner and then just draw a circle around with it being marked into that corner. Might get a little bit close to the edge here because it's right to that measurement, but it will all even out there. So once you have your big half circle here, we will then mark our smaller one that's going to be the hole to where you will wrap around the tree. So what we will do is we will take a ruler, and from this corner again, we're going to measure up about 3 inches. Can do a little bit bigger than 3, but I like to do it at 3 here. If you do have a larger tree base, you can do a little bit larger. And we will then do the same thing with our pen, starting at this point here, holding it in the corner, and just making that circular shape a little bit above, but that's okay. As long as it is the same circle that you're making that's even across, so that way you have an even circle, you will be okay. It's all right if you make it a little bit larger. Once you have your 2 points, you're then gonna go around, and I'm using these Clover Bordeaux scissors. It is really nice to have a great quality pair of scissors when you're using felt, since it is a thicker material. And we will just take the Clover Bordeaux scissors and follow that curved line around to cut out the hole, which will go to the base of our tree. You'll then do that again with this larger circle here, and it will then transform into the shape of your tree skirt. For filming purposes, I already pre-cut this one here, and it will look like this here, just a half circle and then your full circle of the tree skirt. Once you have it all cut out, like I said, those Clover Bordeaux scissors are just perfect for that straight line with this felt material. Once you have it all prepped and cut out into this donut shape here, we will fold it in half for a half circle of the tree skirt, and we're going to make a slit of what you can take apart and tie with the bow for the side of the skirt here. So you can either take a ruler and mark a line. Because I want it right in the center, I'm just going to, on one of these folds here, I'm going to follow this fold and make a line directly in the middle, following the fold to create a slit for the opening of the tree skirt. We will then tie the ribbon around here to loop it together in a nice velvet, pretty bow. Once you have your opening, we can then pull it apart and we will make a mark for the slits here of the felt skirt. I'll show it here. We are then making a place for the ribbon to go into these two slits here. So I'll put that aside, and how we will measure that is we want to go about an inch from the side of one of the slits we made. We'll go an inch up. We'll do about 1.5 inches or so, and then inch to 1.5 inches, and make a mark there of where we will make a slit in the felt fabric. On the other side as well, we'll make the same mark on both sides, and this is where we will make the slit for the ribbon to then go into and tie this bow. So on that slit here, I'm going to fold our fabric, take my Clover Bordeaux scissors, and make just a small slit into the fabric there, about 1.5 inches into the fabric. And that's the two slits that your ribbon will then go into to form the two once we have the poinsettias all glued on. And so we can just tie that beautiful bow. Once we have it all prepped, we will then set this aside and we will work on the acrylic leaves, getting those all prepped and traced. You're going to have some additional material left over from your tree skirt outline that we made earlier. You're going to take that felt fabric, and we will make our felt leaves by taking one of our acrylic leaf templates. We've used these for an array of projects, and these actually work beautifully to make a poinsettia. So many different purposes to use with these templates. These are great because they're nice to just have on hand. They have that sturdy material. Sometimes when you're tracing over and over again with a paper template, it tends to transform into a different shape. These stay nice and firm and are easy to use. How you make your leaf shape with this, or what is going to be our poinsettia shape, you're going to stick your template onto your felt here, take our friction pen, and we will just simply trace around the template and form our leaf shape that will then be a poinsettia. You're going to do an array of leaves in multiple sizes. This comes in 4 sizes, extra large to small. Once you have those all cut out, your pattern will give you the exact details of how many we used to create this skirt. And we are going to cut just around this friction pen here. Don't worry if you have a little bit of the friction pen on there while you're cutting around if it's not completely perfect, because it does erase with heat. That is the magic of these pens. And I am just simply cutting on the line that I have traced. Once you have traced all of your leaves out, I do recommend sorting them by size so you can just easier grab them when we are making our skirt. So I will have these sorted in extra large, large. Here we have our medium and small. Let's put this one here. Once you have them cut out and arranged, we will then take our medium and small leaf shapes, and we're going to do one more step with these shapes here. How we have the point here, I'm going to make them just a little bit more rounded, so that way when we form our poinsettia, we don't have this square edge here. They will then just form a perfect corner when they're pieced together. So where this edge is on the leaf, I'm just going to mimic the same point that it has up top and cut just a V to match the loop, or the edge here, the curved edge. I'll show you one more time. So you have your leaf here, you're then going to turn it, and I cut downwards And then how I do it, it's easiest for me, is to go up, back to that other curved edge and make it like sort of like a diamond shape. And you will do that for all of your medium and small leaves. So then when we're placing them around the skirt, they match perfectly in a point and they don't have that squared edge that we can then just simply place the pearls on top. Once you have all those cut out, we will set aside and start making our felt skirt and arranging the poinsettias in their place. So now that I have all of my materials prepped, I cleaned my surface here, got it out of the way, we are going to start arranging the poinsettia flowers onto the base of this tree skirt. I recommend starting first with your extra large leaves, and we're just going to start in a section and you will follow the same thing throughout the entire base of the skirt. I'm going to start by placing, actually, let's set out our extra large parchment paper first underneath this skirt. I like to do this just so I don't have any hot glue leaking onto my surface here, and if so, we can just easily clean it up, pick it up, and throw it to the side. And I am using my fine-tipped hot glue gun here. This is the best hot glue gun for doing those finer detail projects like this one. We do have these available for you to purchase, and it just always puts out just a tinier amount of glue than most glue guns do. And I am just going to place a dot of glue here and set it on the base here, just right along the edge here. So I have it about diagonal with one point on the edge. With this other one, again, extra large petal here, applied some glue, and the same thing, but just slightly overlapping with this point to the base. Once again, with our extra large petal, apply a dot of glue. And with this one, we will place it down, just overlapping this top one, hanging over the base of our skirt, about halfway or so. And we're creating about like an X shape with this poinsettia here. One more extra large petal, and place it down to create an X. So we have our top two on the skirt, then our bottom two just slightly hanging off to create that beautiful base here. I'm then going to create one more of these again next to it, with this one overlapping that poinsettia petal there. Another dot of glue, and I'm making the same shape that I did for this first poinsettia here, but I am making it just slightly overlapping the first one with these second ones here. So again, this one will go right along the base, and we'll have one more that's creating this X shape. And this is the bottom portion of the stacked poinsettias that go along the base. Once you have those going along the skirt here, I do my in portions. I then will take our smaller ones that we have, that we cut out the bottom with the curve shape, and I'm just going to rotate the sizes of these and apply glue and start building on top of these larger poinsettias. When you're using the extra large ones, you can also rotate in the large petals to give it just an array of different sizes as well. But we're going to take this smaller petal here that we cut into the diamond shape, apply a dot of glue, and overlap it over the top of this larger poinsettia base. Apply glue to the bottom there as well, and I only apply it to the bottom of the petal because I like the shape of them lifting up slightly. I don't want them glued down completely because this just gives it a little bit of added dimension. And I'm just going to continue making the shape of this. We're going to use 5 of these to create the smaller poinsettia, just overlapping this larger one here. And this is the same type of pattern you're going to repeat over and over. So then here I would cover up where this meets with then the smaller ones that we cut out as well, doing 5 of them. I'll just quickly show us again here, a dot of glue, 5 of them here to create this smaller poinsettia in the same arrangement, overlapping the extra large and large leaves here to create just an overlapping pattern that looks beautiful. It looks like it's just a bunch of stacked poinsettias that look nice and lovely, all stacked together, and just adds added dimension to the base of this skirt. So I would follow this around, then starting again, mixing up in my large bases here, then adding in my medium and small ones on top, all the way around the base here. After you have your base around your skirt, I'm then going to take these pearls, which are just the lovely small embellishments here, and I am going to set a dot of glue on top of the middle of one of these smaller poinsettias here. And I'm just going to place the pearls here directly on top. As I went around the skirt, I did kind of a mix of how many pearls I used for each one. Some of them I used 3, some I just used 1, others I just used 2. But it's the same process of just going around, applying a small dot of glue and placing the pearl onto the felt poinsettia flower there. And it just creates a very classic and elegant look around the base of this tree skirt. Next, I'm going to rotate this skirt. Once I have finished this all the way around, you will keep going, but I am going to show you how I applied the ribbon onto this skirt. So here is one of our slits that we cut in the beginning when we prepared the outline of this skirt. And I'm going to take our burgundy velvet ribbon, which I just love the color of this. I'm gonna fold it in half and cut it so I have 2 even pieces of ribbon to tie together onto the bottom of the skirt here. And how we're going to do this is we will take the ribbon and we will just fold it directly through, just loop it through underneath here. And we will just leave a little piece of the ribbon here to then take some glue. So you can see I flipped it over now on this side. I'm going to apply glue to the ribbon and just hold it in place to create the look as if the ribbon is just coming out of the slit here. I'll show you one more time on the other side, and we'll just let that glue or hold the glue until it sets. Doesn't take long at all, but you just want to make sure that it is in place. Once again, we will take the ribbon on the other side of this slit here, and we will just loop it through that slit, flip it over, and apply a small amount of glue. Let me move this up so you can see it better, to the ribbon and hold it in place to the skirt here. This will then make it so we can flip it back over and create a bow on both sides of the skirt here that you can then unwrap when you're placing it around the base of your tree and tie into a ribbon once you have completed it. And it just creates this lovely design that looks so beautiful paired next to this frosted white with touches of gray fabric here. Just loop it through, and I just do a simple small bow to tie and give it that look of a nice elegant ribbon, and then you will have all of the poinsettias around the base of your skirt. So I will show you how it will look once you have finished with all of them around the base here. So I'm just going to grab so you can see what we just did here. So here will be your beautiful frosted poinsettias with the pearl embellishments that go around the base with just so much dimension. It looks lovely. And then this is what we did with the ribbon, the 2 slits tied together to create just this lovely tree skirt that is so classy and elegant. Like I said, this is a fairly easy project for this beautiful skirt that is just going to look so lovely around the base of your tree. I just love the holiday season that we get to gather around our trees and enjoy just each other's presence. It really is just the best season to be with each other and create projects like this that will be adored by all for many holiday seasons to come. Thank you for joining me. I will see you next time. In the meantime, make sure that you subscribe to our main YouTube channel here and also follow along with our At Home with Shabby Instagram and Pinterest account. It is At Home with Shabby. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.